Okay guys, while we're sitting here mixing our hot chocolate this morning, getting ready to eat our breakfast, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about multi-use or multi-purpose sundries that you can carry with you on the trail or in a situation of a permanent base camp, more permanent base camp like this. And this would be considered basically a nomadic base camp. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be permanent. You could up and move it. That was the whole purpose of this experiment, was to live in a mobile shelter, very similar to the way a nomad would live. But the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about is I want to talk to you about baking soda. Okay, baking soda is very cheap, very common man. A box about the size of this Land O'Lakes container for hot chocolate costs less than $1, right at $1. I poured a small container I paid 64 cents for into this plastic Folgers bottle to keep it, to keep it from getting moisture inside of it, and also to keep it protected. But baking soda, understand first of all that baking soda can be used to replace anything that you could use ashes for the most part. And ashes can be used for a lot of things as a replacement for baking soda. They have very similar consistencies. Potash and baking soda have very similar consistencies and very similar properties. And they were used interchangeably, a lot from, the frontier days through even the Boy Scouts of America have talked about, and I've seen journals from Scoutmasters and things like that where they talked about using them interchangeably between baking soda and ash. So we understand that baking soda is used as a leavening agent for breads and things like that. So beyond the baking capabilities, and that's one use for baking soda, let's talk about the hygienic uses of baking soda, what you can do with it, what it will do for you in a camp situation, or a long-term nomadic situation like this. First of all, baking soda makes great toothpaste, as does ashes, again, interchangeable. You can just wet your toothbrush, dip it in the baking soda, and scrub your teeth with baking soda. It makes a very, very good toothpaste. Arm & Hammer actually makes a toothpaste that's baking soda based. You can use it for a dry shampoo, and you can use flour for a dry shampoo as well. But baking soda seems to work better, and ashes will work as well. And what I mean by that is you just take, some in your hand, sprinkle it into your hair, massage into your scalp really good, and what that will do is it will help to absorb some of the oils and excess buildup on your hair if you don't wash your hair on a daily basis with water and soap, or water and some type of a soaping agent, like a yucca root or something like that. It can also be used as a deodorant, anywhere from inside your boots to in your pants to under your armpits. It can be used to deodorize things and take the smell out of things. You can sprinkle it in your bed, if you've been sleeping in the same bedclothes for a lot of time, on your wool blankets and things like that, to help freshen them up, and it will work good for that. You can use it for an antacid. A medical property of baking soda or sodium bicarbonate is used as an antacid all the time. You can just mix it in water, drink it down, and it will help neutralize those stomach acids. And it's very good for that. I've got some notes written down here on some of this stuff because I don't want to miss any of it. One thing that I did miss, I'm used to using plants for this kind of stuff, but one thing that baking soda is supposed to be really good for as well is if you just mix a paste with that baking soda and you put some water into it and make it like a paste, and you put it on an insect bite or sting, it is supposed to neutralize the poison or the venom that's been released into your skin. So that's another very good use for baking soda as well. And then, of course, just like the ashes that we used to, wash our clothes in, to wash our dishes in, this can be used the same way. Put some of it in your water, and you can use it to wash your dishes with. It is a crystalline substance. It's really not a ground up powder. It's more of a crystal. You can't really see it because it's so small. But because of that, it makes a good scrubbing agent as well. They also say that if you have problems with your feet, for anything from funguses to athlete's foot and things like that you might get out on the trail, you can actually take our friend Harvey the bucket over here and put some warm water in that, put some baking soda in it, soak your feet in it, and it will help alleviate and kill and neutralize those funguses to make you feel a lot better. Going along with the nails that we talked about yesterday, taking care of our hands and our nails and things like that, you can soak your hands in that baking soda, or you can actually just scrub baking soda on a brush, dip a brush into baking soda like a toothbrush or a brush that you use to clean your pottery with and things like that, and you can scrub it into the cuticles of your nails. It will help soften those up and keep them from cracking. That happens to me a lot in the wintertime. My cuticles and things start to crack around my nails, and it gets pretty sore. So I usually keep a lot of ointment like lard and things like that on my hands to keep them from doing that. But baking soda is supposed to help alleviate those problems as well. So, that's a lot of bang for the buck. When you're talking about $1 for something like this, that's a whole lot of bang for your money. And I would say that that's definitely worth carrying some of this with you. Maybe in your spice kit like we talked about yesterday. If you were doing a short trek or scout, you could get a lot of bang for your buck just having a film canister of this baking soda with you. But in a situation like this, a nomadic camp or a semi-permanent situation, having a full container of this stuff is definitely a worthwhile sundry to carry. So I kind of wanted to cover baking soda with you today before we ate our breakfast. And then I'd like to talk to you also about a common man belt axe or common man hatchet when we come back. So stay with me.